click on the reference sheet at the bottom. So here I want to show you this function called a VLOOKUP. And what this is going to do is it's going to look up values from a different table, and it's going to return a value back over here based on what we're looking for. And this is really good for getting parts of data that that are in different tables. Like, getting a lot of teachers and professors use it to assign letter grades to their final scores. And in this example, we're gonna utilize this to get the actual country name based off their country code. So what we're gonna do is click on the cell right here. We're just gonna type equals VLOOKUP, and it's gonna ask us for a lookup value. And in this case, we want to look up the CA for reference. And then for the table array, we're gonna select this table right here, just the values, since we want Excel to look up this table for our value. And for this parameter right here, it's asking for the column index number. We're gonna type in 2 because we want Excel to return value from the second column, which is the actual country names. And then we want the exact match, so we're gonna type in false in all capital. Yeah. And before we press enter, what we want to do is make sure we lock our references. I'll show you guys in a bit, but as you guys can see, the VLOOKUP works. It looked up CA in this table to return us Canada. But if you don't lock our references, let's see if I paste it here. As you guys can see, it starts to drag down the reference. It's not staying still. So what we want to do is press we want to go back on the formula and want to press F4 on the table array for both K2 and for L11. Press F4 for those. We press enter again, and we paste the formula down and make sure that our table array is locked in place. So it's really good it's really good for automating data entry and just looking up information that's especially when you're dealing with the large data set, you don't want to manually look up information from different tables. So VLOOKUP and referencing in general is just a very good tool to have. And next we're going to move on to this index worksheet. And there's another cool thing you can do with VLOOKUP. We're going to go under the ID column and type in VLOOKUP. Let's say you want to reference off this table to get the ID number for each employee. We can set it up and structure in a way that our name can look like this. So what we're going to do is VLOOKUP for the lookup value. We want to structure our names to look like this. So we're going to click on the last name first. And then we're going to type ampersand and the double quotes, comma, space, comma, and we're going to put another ampersand. And we're going to press A2, which is their first name. So what we did there is just structure the name so that we are telling Excel to look up our value that looks like this. And same thing, the table array, we just want to select the data from the other table. And same thing, we want to type 2 since we want Excel to return value from the second column. And we're going to type false. Oops, not that. And like before, you want to make sure you lock your table reference just by pressing F4 on the table array for both G2 and for H18. We're just going to press enter. As you guys can see, we got the ID number for each employee just by referencing off this table right here. So that's really convenient, especially when you're dealing with large data sets. However, there are some limitations within VLOOKUP. As you guys can see, if you try to do the same thing for this table, if you want to look up the sales numbers for each of the employees, you can't do that since their name is separated into multiple columns, and VLOOKUP doesn't allow us to do that. So we're gonna have to utilize this function called match, which is pretty similar to VLOOKUP in terms of what it's asking for. So we're gonna go under sales, match. As you can see, the parameters are pretty similar. It's gonna ask us for the lookup value, which is Lopez Maria, comma, and then for the lookup array, we're gonna structure it like how we did before, where it's gonna be, instead of just one name this time, we want to select the whole the data within the column. And what this is doing is Excel is gonna create like a temporary list where it's gonna match with our lookup value right here, and then it's gonna return us the position which the name is located in. So yeah, so first we selected the last name, and then we put the ampersand, and then quote, comma, space, quote, and we're gonna put another ampersand, and we're gonna put the first name values. And we want it to be exact match, so we're gonna type 0. And can press OK. If you have to lock. Yeah, you want to make sure you lock your lookup array as well. By pressing F4 on the B's and the A's. And as you guys can see, it shows us the what's that, the position number of the employee. So as you guys can see, within our table array, it's in the second position, which is in the third row for Maria Lopez. But this is not what we're looking for. We're trying to get the sales number, and for this we have to utilize another function on top of that, which is index. So we're just going to type in index, and we're going to put a what's that thing called? The parentheses, or these parentheses. But yeah, and here it's going to ask us for array. We're going to select the entire row entire column for the sales number. And this is going to be our return value. So we're just going to select all our sales numbers. We're going to type a comma, and we're going to close the parentheses at the end. And if you press enter, we finally get the sales number associated with each employee. So yeah, this sort of like addresses some of the limitations within VLOOKUP when you have to reference off of multiple columns. So I think if you paste it on, you want to make sure you lock your references as well, or lock the array, I mean, just by pressing F4 like I've been saying. And if you paste it down, now we get the sales number associated with each employee. So referencing is a very powerful tool within Excel. It just makes data entry that much easier, and it saves a lot of manual time.